On today's show,
Jesus being a defensive guy, being a guy that deserves to get in the end zone every once in a while, saw that red and black end zone and took off to it. And then that kick became huge. And I asked our holder Griffin, who's our quarterback. I go, did you say anything to the Ducks about it? And he's like, no, I wasn't going to tell him the moment of it. And I was like, good decision.
It is showtime on Kansas Sports Chatter. More guests are lined up to talk high school athletics here in the States. It's a statewide high school sports entertainment show streaming on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Cole. You're you. Let's get started. The guests today, Carns, Michael Stanger, both members of the Derby High School bowling team. We'll talk about a couple of their big games in their careers with our leadoff question. Mark Sandbo, head coach of the Salina Central football team, fresh off a state championship in Class 5A this year. He'll be our quality time interview. Jeff Bollig, the chairman of the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame. We'll discuss one of the tougher records to ever break in high school athletics in Kansas. Dylan Hitchcock, one of the founders of the Sudden Victory podcast, which showcases girls wrestling in the States. He'll be joining us a little bit later on to talk about some of the big wrestlers this year in Kansas. Ashlynn Jaccard, a member of the Cowley College volleyball team at Lansing High School, will be our next level talents. And we'll close things out with a radio highlight from Ross Volkmer, the radio voice of the Goodland Cowboys. Big thanks to our sponsors, Meyers Enterprises, for all of your digital advertising needs. Make sure you contact Meyers Enterprises. And SPX, Specialized Video Wall Solutions. Check out the website, sp-xsolutions.com. We'll get things rolling with today's leadoff question. It is our leadoff question with Carns, a member of the Derby High School bowling team. At Cash, your question: what's the best game that you've bowled in your high school career so far?
300.
300. Okay, so when did it happen?
It happened at the Great Plains Invitational first game, the very first game, and then my second game was had a lot of adrenaline going on because it was my first one during high school season, and so I was very pumped. I'll tell you that.
Like, had you been close before? Like, how close were you before getting that 300?
I've been pretty close before, multiple times, I'd say. But, like, I've never gone, like, whenever I hit front 10, it was very nerve-wracking.
So, like, when you're getting in the rhythm, like, even, like, halfway through a game like that, like the 300 game, like, do you get a sense that, okay, hey, man, things are flowing right now? The stroke feels good?
Oh, yeah. There's definitely, like, you're in the zone and you're trying to, like, because there's so many people, especially at the Great Plains Invitational, everyone was watching me. So I was, like, really trying to make sure that it was just me, even though, like, I was really pumped. I was trying to be there mentally, but it was pretty hard.
What is it like, especially going into the 10th frame when you have a game like that?
Pure adrenaline. I'll tell you that. It's pure adrenaline. But I mean, after a while, you get used to it, especially when you get there, when you get so close every single time, and like bigger tournaments and stuff. Like, because I do a lot of tournaments outside of high school as well, and that's really prepared me for these high games now. And so that pressure isn't there as much, but last year when it was there, there was a lot.
What was the initial reaction afterwards after the 300?
Pumped. I was absolutely pumped. I jumped around a little bit, and the first person I went to was Michael, and he like attacked me practically. He kept shoulder bumping me.
So when you bowl a game like that, does that just make you want to get them even more? Like, you want another one of those?
Oh, yes, anytime I can.
So do you go back to the same lane, like that same lane, just to make sure maybe you can repeat it?
Oh, I feel like that's not as rewarding, but because there are lanes, especially at Derby, where it is easier, but it's a lot more rewarding when it's on a harder pair than an easier pair. And so that I feel like it definitely varies, but a 300 is a 300. So it will always feel good no matter what.
That is Cash Carns, a member of the Derby High School bowling team, with our leadoff question. It is today's leadoff question with Michael Stanger, a member of the Derby High School bowling team. Michael, your question: what's the best game that you bowled in your high school career so far?
High school, I think only 290 for high school. That's
okay. So 290, that's it. That's pretty good. So, like, when did that happen for you?
That was at a home meet for Derby. Is one of our triangulars that we had early on in the year.
Like, did you have a good feeling going into that? Like, did you feel good before you started?
I mean, I didn't really expect much. I just wanted to shoot a good game. It didn't really matter to me, but I got 290. I was pretty happy with it. I had a spare in the very first frame, and then I went back 11 for that game.
So for you, like when you get started on a game like that, like at what point did you realize, okay, hey, yeah, this is feeling pretty good?
I mean, probably like after like the first like 2-3 strikes, that's when I'm like confident usually. Just I know I can string them together. Just like the first two, you just build it up, and then once you get those, it feels pretty good, and then it just get comfortable, and then you're fine.
Is it pretty easy to keep your approach the same? I'm sure at this point in your career, like you keep that approach the same, but is it pretty easy when you get in the middle of a game like that? Yeah,
it's just worrying about the shots, not worrying about the scores for me. Just worry about making the best shots I can, and not just
What was your initial reaction after the game?
I mean, I didn't really think much of it. I mean, I was more worried about just trying to get a high set for the meet instead, but that felt pretty good to get a 290 game under my belt to start with.
Did you have any frames that were kind of sketchy or that were pretty tough for you?
I mean, from what I remember, I think they were all pretty good. I think maybe a couple just came into the pocket a little light, but those struck, so I wasn't really worried about it.
Is it there's a certain lane or a certain place that you do like to bowl at?
I like to Derby. Let's roll Derby. That's my main house. I like bowling there a lot. And the pair 11 and 12 are my favorite pair. Me and Cash picked the pair, and we bowl pretty good on it.
That is Michael Stanger, a member of the Derby High School bowling team, with our leadoff question. Thanks to Cash Carns and also Michael Stanger, both members of the Derby High School bowling team, joining us here for our leadoff question. Like bowling, I can't even imagine like doing something perfect. Like you can go out, play baseball, basketball, football, swimming, and there's always room for improvement. You could win, but it might not be a perfect performance. You bowl 300, like there's nowhere to go. So hats off to those guys. And obviously Stanger with the 290 ain't too shabby either. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about a state championship from 5A football this year. Salina Central head coach Mark Sandbo is our guest next.
Mental health is crucial, especially during high school activities. It is a time when we're juggling a lot, school, sports, and clubs, and it can get overwhelming. Sometimes we might feel stressed or down, and that's okay. It's okay to ask for help when we need it. Taking care of our mental health is just as important as our physical health. Remember to support each other and create a positive environment in our high school community.
It is our quality time interview on Kansas Sports Chatter, an opportunity to spend a little extra time with our next guest, and that guest is Mark Sandbo. He's the head coach of the Salina Central High School football team. Fresh off that state championship, congratulations, Coach. Appreciate you coming on the show. Like, what is that post-state championship feeling like? Like, what have the last few days been like for you?
Oh, immediately, it's every emotion you can imagine. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of pride. There's a lot of joy. I would say as the days start to progress, you kind of think about those 18 seniors and you start reflecting that you're not going to have those guys anymore. But again, the imprint they've made on our program, our community, our school, that pride and that joy outweighs any type of somberness of losing those guys, even though they're going to be extremely tough to replace.
You look up at the clock, it reads zeros. You've won a state championship. What was your first reaction, that immediate the impact for you?
honestly, I was looking at the guys. They were so excited. They deserved every bit of it. Man, they played so well down the stretch. They believed in what we were doing. They trusted our staff. I compared it to, I said after the Great Bend game, I felt like an 8-year-old at Christmas. I would say the feeling I felt like after the state championship is when you give that really good gift to somebody and you just see their excitement. That's kind of how I felt for our staff and for our kids and our community. When you look back at the stadium, you look back at those visiting stands at Emporia State, man, it was elated with emotion, and it was packed, and it was loud. It was just a great feeling for everybody, but I was most excited for our kids and our staff. They did such a good job, and they executed, and against adversity. Their backs were against the wall, and they absolutely responded.
I like that you mentioned that, the community, because like when I think about like any team, any sport that wins a state championship, it's great for the players, it's great for the, the coaches, but man, like the impact that it has on a community, and especially like one in Salina, like you talk about legacy, and like that's going to be there forever. That's got to be a cool feeling for the community.
Oh, man, they love football here. It's the big dog, and there's a lot of pride in it. And we talk about wearing the maroon and white and representing Salina Central and the tradition with it and the pressure that comes with it. But we follow that up with that pressure is a privilege. And how are you going to hold that standard? And, I would say 18 seniors and the 2025 team definitely held the standard. They're one of 7 teams that have won a state championship here with absolutely memorable stories and games and tradition. For them to imprint their legacy like that, I'm so proud of them.
Well, you mentioned that 2005 team, the last one, the won a state championship there at Central. Like, was anyone around from that 2005 team that reached out to you guys or your players?
Oh yeah, we got people around. And when you talk about the community, it's amazing how everybody comes out. You have graduates from the year 2000, from 1995, from before it was Salina Central, 1968. Just prideful in what's going on and aware. And we had a number of people, Jake Sharp's still around. He's always around the program. The kids know who he is and know what he's about. And, for us to add another one, words cannot express how we're still feeling.
Well, you look at even at your run going back to the quarterfinals. I mean, to have to face, the in-town rival in South, that was just a spectacular run. I mean, especially that matchup you guys were able to pull away, later in that game. But having to play South in the quarterfinals had to have been a weird feeling in the playoffs as well.
Oh, it was awesome. We don't cheer for South too often, and I think they would say the same thing. But we were cheering for them against Liberal. They're a really good football team. It didn't matter who we had in that round. Like, we were going to play a good football team, and we knew we were going to play a great football team in the following round and a great football team in the state championship. But we understood, what that game could mean to the community, what that could mean for our kids. I've heard anywhere from the numbers from 8,500 to 10,000 at the game. I guess the viewing numbers were 18,000 viewed. It was an electric environment, and that's what I was rooting for. I thought our kids deserved an opportunity, and so did theirs. What they did in those 2 games prior, I thought both programs deserve an opportunity to play in that old Central South environment. And the Mayor's Cup is big, and it's been big since I've been here, but it's never been like that. There was a lot on the line, and I think it says a lot about our kids to be able to respond like they did, because there was pressure on them. And our message all week was, that's a privilege. Like, we want that pressure. How are you going to respond to it? And they responded well. We had 3 possessions in the first half. We scored on 2 of them. We shot ourselves not in the foot once, but twice on the other one. And then the second half to be able to score 35 and just trust in what we were doing. We responded better defensively. We made some tweaks. And then we just harped on the guys. Hey, do what you've been coached to do, and good things are going to happen. And that's what happened. And that was kind of the same message in the state championship game. We told them, hey, if we go back to August and we say we're down 14-10 in the state championship game, are we going to take it? And, I think anybody's response in the state would be like, yeah, it's 14-10 in the state championship. We're taking that. Let's see what we do with it. And they responded in the second half with 41 points and 5 turnovers.
Impressive, really impressive numbers. Mark Sandbo, head coach of Salina Central, joining us. All right, that state semifinal game in Great Bend. Now, I want to go to one specific play. That was the fourth down. I think it was 4th and 3 or 4th and 4, and you guys had it in Great Bend territory, and there's under a minute to go. You get that first down, you almost seal the win, right? Because they're out of timeouts. Otherwise, Great Bend's offense gets a chance to go win it in a close game. What was going through your head when trying to figure out the right play call and eventually settling on that got the go-ahead touchdown or the ceiling touchdown, I guess?
Yeah, I think you think about those play calls, throughout the week. What do you do in this situation? And, that was in our back pocket. Griffin did a great job of selling it. The issue, Jesus was the one that was running. He's a defensive star for us. Noah tweaked his ankle a little bit, so he couldn't be in there, but Jesus didn't miss a beat. And, we called it. We told our Y, hey, we're going to leak out there. We thought their safety was being super aggressive, as he should have been. What a stud Ian Premer is, to be able to play in the box at 4.5 yards and be the deep third player, which he was through most of the game. When we dropped back and he saw high hat, man, he covered a lot of ground. But I think everybody in the stadium thought we were going to run it one more time. We were trying to get a hat on a hat for where we wanted to go. Griffin sold it like he needed to, raised up and threw a strike to Jesus. The only thing I wish I would have said to Jesus, and I think our offensive guys knew it situationally, was when we get a first down, we're going to go down and we're going to run this clock out. But Jesus, being a defensive guy, being a guy that deserves to get in the end zone every once in a while, saw that red and black end zone and took off to it. And then that kick became huge. And I asked our holder, Griffin, who's our quarterback, I go, did you say anything to the Ducks about it? And he's like, no, I wasn't going to tell him the moment of it. And I was like, good decision. And that's the type of IQ that our quarterback has. And then they executed, which is what they did all game. When a big moment, and that was a big moment, when a big moment presented itself, they executed and they made the most of it. And that's what it was going to take to beat a team like that, because that was a sensational Great Bend team. And, one that you could argue is the best team that they've ever had. And for our kids to go down in an environment like that, a lot of hostility, which we like. I mean, again, that's a good pressure and to execute like they did. And to put a game together like anybody watching is going to enjoy that, whether you're in North Dakota or you're in Great Bend, Kansas, and you couldn't get the game, you turn it on. Like, that's a good high school football game, and we're awfully proud to be a part of it, and glad we won.
Yeah, exactly. You get that win, then you get ready for that state championship game against Basehor Linwood. What's the hoopla like, before a state championship? What was that week like? And just, I don't want to say there's pressure like you mentioned, but just all the craziness of being in a state championship game.
Yeah, you always worry after those games, even the South game, there's emotional highs, and how are you going to respond? And I think you credit our staff, and I think you credit those seniors with a mature response, how they responded in the Great Bend game. And then there's an emotional high after that. How are you going to respond in the state championship game? One of the things I was surprised about is just how busy it is. We had our banquet that following Monday after the state championship game. We had planned that. We're normally about mid-November, even when we're playing. But this year we just pushed it back a little bit for whatever reason. But I thought, Thanksgiving, that'll be no problem. I'll have time to concentrate on the banquet for a couple hours at a time here and there, and then I'll be all football. But it's amazing how busy that week is. And the banquet definitely got pushed to the back burner until after the state championship. And I just remember reflecting, that was a bad idea to have it December 1st. But I'm glad it worked out. Our staff had our kids prepared. Our kids were locked in. It was a great break of practice for our kids. It was normalcy. It was what we've done. The only change in pace was our Thanksgiving practice in the morning, but that was a normal Thursday for us. And we really enjoyed the Friday game. We thought that was pretty systematic for us. And then our kids obviously doing what they did come Friday at 2 p.m.
You go back, I mean, your only blemish on the season, that week 7 loss to Andover. And then, like, to me, like, as, you know, like an outsider, like, you know, a loss at that point of the season, you can sometimes, for some teams, can go one of two ways, right? Like, yeah, at that point of the year, you're getting ready for playoffs, and maybe it's a refocus, or, hey, you can recalibrate a little bit, or kind of maybe, you know, some doubt creeps in at that point of the season. Like, what did that loss do for you? And obviously, you guys responded well, but what was the response like at the time after that loss?
Really good. Really good. And again, you know, that's in-program leadership right there. When you got 18 really good seniors, you expect that response to be positive, and it was. And our staff, you know, we knew what we didn't do as well. And a tip of the cap to Andover, they did some things really well. They're a really well-coached team. They're a tough out. Like, we knew that South Andover matchup was going to be nasty for both teams. Andover's a really good football team. But, you know, we tell our kids all the time, when you lose, don't lose the lesson. And there was a lot of lessons to be learned from that game. And a credit to our coaches for seeing what we need to improve on, what we did well against them, and elevating that. And then, you know, I think you saw the response the next 7 games of what we were able to do. And I think we are a much better football team after we learned the lessons from that Andover game.
Well, are the guys already picking out rings? Are they looking for their favorite ring styles or what?
Oh yeah, they're really excited. You know, they're talking about what comes next, and the shirts are getting printed out. The rings are being discussed, but you know, that's what they deserve. When you win a 5A state championship and you do it against teams like you had to go through, and a well coached, very similar. I would compare Bayshore very similar to us. Great Bend, South, you know, Goddard. I mean, we ran a gauntlet. There's some really, really good football teams that we played all year. You know, they definitely deserve to reap those rewards, and they're going to.
Coach, appreciate the time, and congratulations again.
Hey, Cole, I appreciate you having me. Means a lot. Thanks for the coverage all year.
That is Mark Sandbo, head coach of the Salina Central football team, with our Quality Time interview. Here's a hard truth. If your business isn't using AI in its marketing, you've already fallen behind. But there's an advertising agency in Kansas that can get you back up to speed. That agency's name is Meyers Enterprises Media Research. The name sounds dry because the company's run by engineers, not salespeople. They use superior research and analytics that drive results with surgical precision. Marketing doesn't have to be a gritty battle in the trenches. Your business can win from the box. Visit their website, mediaresearch.agency, to learn more. Welcome back on the show. It is time for our Unbreakable Records, a segment where we like to highlight some of maybe the tougher Kansas high school records that exist. And again, our assistance from Jeff Bollig. He is the chairman of the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame. All right, today's record, Jeff, we're going to go with a baseball one. Yeah. Jim Golden. I mean, these are some impressive numbers. Tell us about his stats.
Well, Jim Golden went to Silver Lake High School, and in a game against Barrington, which little community outside Topeka at that time had the high school, in 14 innings, he struck out 31 batters. 14 and 31 strikeouts. And he actually also holds the record for most strikeouts in a 7-inning game. He shares that. He had 20. And then for a season, he had 185 in 1954. So impressive. I would like to see what his arm was like after the season, but he was born in Missouri. His family moved to the Topeka area to work on the railroad. And then he obviously pitched for Silver Lake and had a career with the Dodgers, a short pro career. In those days, he didn't make a lot of money, and a lot of times players made the decision just to go raise a family and earn money. So I don't know the story behind Jim in total regard to that, but he was a good athlete, and he had sons who played as well. Jim's still alive in Topeka, as I understand, and he had some sons who were very good baseball players as well. So quite a credit to him to strike out that many.
Yeah, I mean, 31, and you mentioned the extra innings and going 14 innings back in 1954, but just to make sure he had the true record, even of the 7-inning game, 20 strikeouts. So people doing the math, there's only 21 outs possible. So he struck out all but one. And,
Well, yeah.
and then I was just reading some of the stories, and he was talking about, like, yeah, perfect games were kind of common, like 15, 16, 17 strikeouts every game.
Yeah. No pitch count, obviously.
Yeah, that's a big difference. That's a big difference.
Right. Yeah. So, no, the thing about Topeka, it's a great baseball town. It has some great legendary names associated with it. The fact, first of all, you go back to the days in the 50s when the Topeka Owls were there, and that was a minor league team. And, America's pastime was baseball. Every small town had a minor league baseball team that fed up to the major league franchise. And so Topeka Owls were there. The great Merle Harmon, broadcaster, much before our days, but achieved a network status, was the broadcaster for the Topeka Owls. But, you think of Ken Berry, Gold Glove winner with the White Sox, Mike Torres, the great pitcher for the Red Sox and Yankees. A little later, Davey Lopes, second baseman for the Dodgers, went to Washburn. Okay. And then Aaron Crow pitched for the Royals as Topekan. And then recently, Ryan Zefferson, who pitched for Kansas and is now with the Angels pitching. And, Seaman and Shawnee Heights have had great baseball programs. So Topeka is really a good baseball town.
Well, and you talk about, Jim Golden, and, won a couple state championships there at the end of his high school career at Silver Lake. And he was talking about, he would go to spring training, as a young guy, rookie, and he met up with Satchel Paige. And apparently he got a hit off. He was hitting, and he got a hit off Satchel Paige, and Satchel was really ticked off, and then made sure that he did not get another hit the next time he came up to bat. So, Jim Golden, man, he was rubbing elbows with the best.
Well, I tell you what, if you can get a hit off of Satchel Paige, you've done something, haven't you?
Yeah, big time. Yeah. And even like in Silver Lake, you talk about, I think we've had discussions on Silver Lake, and just like the amount of athletes that have come out of that smaller school too.
Well, tremendous. Yes, you're right. And I think the Kruger family accounted for half of them, right? Just a lot of
good
them.
Name.
Yeah, you mentioned Satchel Paige. He used to barnstorm as a member of the Monarchs. So they'd go and play these small towns, their town teams or the semi-pro teams, and he would go, and as a part of it, he would have all of his fielders leave the field and be he and the catcher, and he'd strike everyone out. He'd throw 9 pitches and he'd strike everyone out. So he was that confident in his abilities. So listen, if Jim Golden can get a hit off a Satchel Paige, that is impressive.
Impressive number for sure. Hey, Jeff, appreciate the time.
Great. My pleasure to be with you.
That is Jeff Bollig, the chairman of the Kansas Sports Hall of Fame, with our Hall of Fame spotlight, Jim Golden, the strikeout record holder in the state of Kansas with 31 in a single game, and also the 7-inning record with 20 strikeouts. SPX Specialized Video Wall Solutions. Your gym needs SPX. Welcome back on the show. It is time now for some wrestling chatter as we'll bring in our next guest, Dylan Hitchcock. He is the founder of the Sudden Victory podcast, or maybe even a co-founder, but I'll let you explain that. Hey, Dylan, appreciate you coming on. And before we kind of jump into some girls wrestling chatter, kind of explain to us what the Sudden Victory podcast is and how it got started.
Yeah, I'd love to. So, I've been involved with wrestling either as a competitor, as a coach for the past 40 years. I've been coaching down in Kansas for 20. I was blessed with 2 daughters, but, for early in their life, I never thought, I would have, somebody that I'd be coaching in the practice room. And then girls wrestling kind of began to take off, probably 5-10 years ago. And then when Kansas decided that they wanted to start girls wrestling, I had an opportunity to take over here at Olathe North High School. When they decided that they wanted to get involved in girls wrestling, my oldest daughter decided that she wanted to start wrestling. She would have been in 7th grade at the time. So I was coaching here for 2 years, helping her out with her club. And then she came into the high school and she just graduated last year. And I'd say about 3 years ago, we were kind of just looking for something that we could share together. We both had a passion for wrestling and girls wrestling, and we felt that there just wasn't enough spotlight on girls around the state and just girls wrestling in general. So we just kind of thought there was a need for someone maybe to step in and spotlight it through social media, through articles, podcasts, and so forth. And then we also took over, well, me specifically took over the all class rankings for the state of Kansas on the girls side as well.
You talk about some of the content that you've been able to produce has been really good stuff. So if people haven't checked it out, they need to do so. Like, what are some of the things that you're pumping out there with Sudden Victory?
So typically what it is at the beginning of the year, we will do some stuff on social media where we'll highlight incoming freshmen to kind of be looking out for. We also do our basically preseason podcast where we talk about some storylines heading into the season, some of the top teams in all the different classes, some of the top wrestlers that are returning from last year, and then just some key storylines heading into the season. And then as the year goes on, we kind of do preview shows for some of the big tournaments. We've done the Lady Cat the past few years. We've done the Washburn Rural Tournament, which is the end of January, several years, and then we always do a state preview show as well.
Well, you talk about some of those previews as the season's already getting started. Like, who are some of the wrestlers? And I know this is hard to do because there's so many, but who are some of the wrestlers across the state that really kind of stand out that everyone should kind of keep an eye on?
Yeah, when I was thinking about who I wanted to talk about, it was tough to limit it down to just a few. Just the talent in Kansas on the girls' side is just growing so quickly and super, super deep. I mean, we graduated a lot of great wrestlers last year that are now wrestling on in college. People like Halen Martinez, who was a state champion for Liberal, Landreth, who was a state champion for Mulvane, my daughter, who was multiple state champion, Gabby Coppice, 4-time state champion, undefeated in high school. But when you look at, the talent that we have for this upcoming season, it's just as deep, if not deeper. I mean, every year the freshmen coming in are just more and more ready to compete, have been wrestling for a really, really long time. So this year is just shaping up to be another great year. We have more wrestlers in the national rankings. We have more girls competing at the national level, whether it be at Fargo, whether it be at the USA Folk Style Nationals or preseason nationals. The state of Kansas on the girls' side is in great, great shape. We got a lot of great coaches out there, a lot of great clubs that are working with athletes. So it's just great to look at where we're headed as a state. And as far as this high school season, it's shaping up to be a great season, a lot of great teams and a lot of great wrestlers. When I was kind of thinking about wrestlers to kind of talk about, I just kind of wanted to highlight just a few. These aren't necessarily in every case the best wrestlers, but the ones who have done really, really well so far and have either a great storyline or something like that. So
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of start at the lower weights and kind of move up. I think the first place I want to start is with the Wilson twins out of Abilene, Kansas. They're both sophomores there this year. Both are returning state champions. Josie won state at 4A at 100 pounds last year. Her sister Jade won at 105 pounds last year. They both had dominant seasons as freshmen. Josie went through the season undefeated. She had at least one, maybe two wins against Jade Alvarado, a state champion from Junction City, who's currently wrestling at Fort Hays. Jade also had a great season, beating a returning state champion in the finals last year by major decision. Both of them are really, really involved in the off season, in the freestyle season, competing at Fargo and so forth. Jade and Josie are both ranked number one heading into the season in all class rankings. Josie at 100 pounds, Jade at 105 pounds. Both are nationally ranked. Josie's ranked as high as, top 15 by Sports Illustrated, also ranked by USA Wrestling. Jade's nationally ranked in the Sports Illustrated preseason national rankings as well. So the first time I really had a chance to watch them was last year. They did a bragging rights kind of competition before the beginning of the season, and they were both incoming freshmen. Josie had Jaden Alvarado in that event. But the thing I was just most impressed was with their tenacity and fearlessness. As freshmen coming in, they didn't back down to anybody. Great technicians, great athletes. Those are two girls. I'm sure they push each other in the wrestling room every day. That if you have a chance to watch, you need to get out there and watch them. So they have an exciting future ahead of them. And then next on my list is actually a freshman, Leo Karnowski from Wamego. She's going to be wrestling either 155 or 170. She's currently ranked number 2, the highest ranked freshman that we have in all class rankings at 155. She is she's a Fargo All-American from this last year. She just currently, back in early November, won preseason folk style nationals up in Des Moines. She, about a week and a half ago, wrestled in a college tournament as a freshman, maybe the toughest college tournament in the country, over the Missouri Valley Open, and placed over there. She's currently nationally ranked in the Sports Illustrated preseason national rankings. I've been watching Leo for the past 3 years, and what I love about Leo's is she's not scared of anything. She is up for any challenge. She'll go up a weight class, up 2 weight classes if she can. When she was in middle school, she was wrestling high school tournaments and college tournaments as a middle schooler, and she's not your typical freshman. I mean, a lot of freshmen coming in just don't have necessarily the physicality or the body yet to really compete a lot of times with these older girls. She will not have that problem. She is a physical specimen. She comes in, she wrestles a very, very aggressive style. She's definitely going to be one of the best wrestlers out there in Kansas as a freshman. So she's an exciting one to keep an eye on as well. Staying in the same weight class, Saban Flanner of Shawnee Mission South. I just love watching her. She is explosive. You never know what you're going to get out of her. She can score from a lot of different positions. She has tons of big move capabilities in her arsenal. She definitely opened up a lot of eyes last year as a freshman. I don't think a lot of people necessarily knew who she was heading into her high school season. She got second last year to Madrid from Derby, who has recently moved, so she's no longer in the state. She's currently ranked number 1 in the 155-pound all-class rankings. She is also a Fargo All-American. She is a multiple folk style All-American as well, ranked nationally. She's just a fun one to watch. At times she'll give up points because she's not as scared to go for something, but she is never out of a match, and a great athlete for the weight class, really strong, fun wrestler to watch. Moving on to 170 pounds, one of my favorites, ones I've got to know quite a bit, her and her family over the past few years. That's senior Kylie Dillow from Chanute. She wrestles 170 pounds. She's currently ranked number 1 in the all-class rankings. She is a 2-time state champion. She won in 2024 and 2025 at 170 pounds. I don't think she's lost to a Kansas girl in the past 2 years. Wow. She is also a Fargo All-American 2 years ago. She placed 3rd in the Missouri Valley Open tournament, which again is a college tournament and one of the harder ones in the country. And as a high schooler, she placed 3rd there. She is the real deal. I'm going to be excited to see where she commits to college. I think she wants to wrestle there. She's going to have a lot of great options. So she's definitely going to be the odds-on favorite to win that title at 170 pounds in 4A. And just a few other girls to kind of keep an eye on. I'm not going to go as depth on them, but just some other girls. Kristen Martinez from Mays at 100 pounds. Juliana Villanueva, known as Bree, 115 from Junction City. She's a multiple-time state champ. Really, strong for that weight. She's been wrestling for a long time. She's a fun one to watch. Kaysen Miller, who's bumping up a few weight classes, 125 pounds from Norton. Crystal Laura, 130 pounds from Garden City. And by the way, Garden City's team is loaded once again, top to bottom. They got a lot of great talent. She's just one of them. Maya Dolinar, who's a multiple state champion from Piper. She's currently ranked number 1 at 140 pounds. Audrey Leonard, 145 pounds from Olathe East. She's a returning state champion there. And then Lulu Kirk at 235 pounds from Shawnee Mission South. She's a returning state champion. She has been in some of the national rankings. She's a Fargo All-American as well. So those are just a few other girls to keep an eye on. And then real quick, I want to go through maybe some of the top freshmen that we have heading into the season. And there's probably a few of them I don't know about, but these are the ones that I've had a chance to either work with on the Kansas team or have had a chance to watch. Haley Estrada is going to be wrestling 100 pounds for Cape and Mount Carmel. Aaliyah Tangprecha from Washburn Rural, awesome athlete, really strong, explosive. She's a fun one to watch. Brylan Jackson, known as B, is going to be wrestling 110 pounds from Gardner Edgerton. She comes in with a ton of national experience, a lot of accomplishments. She's going to be competing for a state title as a freshman. Also at 110 pounds, Rihanna Spangler. Both are 6A freshmen. I think both are going to be competing for a chance for a state title this year. She's really good. Aspen Walker, 115 pounds from Gardner Edgerton. Gardner's got several good freshmen, including Aspen. Presley Beard, maybe one of the best freshmen heading in, 120 pounds from Derby. Scarlett Yeager, who I've had a chance to work with and watch several times, 140 pounds from Mays. She's done great at the national scene. She travels all across the country. She's actually preseason ranked in one of the national rankings. I talked about Leo, and then finally Tinsley Leonard of Mays at 155 pounds. I'm sure I've left off a few. Like I said, it's deep right now. A lot of great wrestlers, good storylines. I absolutely can't wait for the season to start. The big tournaments are opening up this weekend. I know Bazer's up at the Donnybrook in Iowa. It's a great tournament there. So, it's going to be a fun year.
Dylan, really good stuff. We'll have to catch up later on in the season.
All right. I appreciate it. Have me on anytime. I love talking about girls wrestling and appreciate any coverage you give us.
We'll take it. That's Dylan Hitchcock with the Sudden Victory podcast and our Wrestling Chatter. Are you looking for a new way to promote your business or organization? Do you want to get your message out to a statewide audience that loves high school sports in both urban and rural areas? Kansas Sports Chatter has advertising opportunities from commercials, sponsoring specific guests, product placements, and even a premier sponsorship. Let Kansas Sports Chatter promote your brand. Contact ksportschatter@gmail.com for more advertising details. That's ksportschatter@gmail.com. Come join the chatter. It is our next level talent segment on Kansas Sports Chatter, an opportunity to talk with former high school athletes from the state of Kansas that now are competing at a college or university in the state of Kansas. And joining us will be Ashlynn Jaccard, a member of the Cowley College volleyball team and out of Lansing High School. Ashlynn, appreciate the time. For you, does it feel like you're a couple of years removed from high school?
Yes, it does.
For you, you go back to high school and just those memories, what was it like competing for Lansing?
It was fun. As a freshman, I started on varsity, and there were some girls, upperclassmen, that kind of took me under their wing, and they were also my brother's friends. My brother was their age or whatever, but they kind of took me under their wing, and my first 2 years were a lot of fun. I mean, we got second my freshman year, and then we won my sophomore year. But sophomore year was a little bit different for me because of an injury, but it was high school was great.
You go back to that freshman year, and you mentioned playing right away. Did you expect that? Were you kind of aware that once you arrived at high school, you're going to play right away?
I did not. There was a lot of other girls that, we're a pretty talented volleyball school. We've been known for our volleyball. And there were some girls that are a lot taller than me. And I feel like I started volleyball kind of late, so I did not expect it. It was kind of a surprise.
So when did you start up volleyball?
Probably when I was 11 or 12.
When trying to I don't know to say catch up, but what was that learning curve like for you? Just trying to get kind of caught up to speed.
I don't know. I had always gone to summer camps through our high school when I was little, so I had played volleyball.
Right.
It just wasn't at a higher level. So I don't know. It was just kind of a learning process.
You mentioned those first 2 years at Lansing High School, this freshman year finishing the runner-up, then winning the state championship your sophomore season. Between that freshman and sophomore year, do you remember, was there any extra motivation? What was that push to get back there?
There was definitely extra motivation because we were we can do it. We were there already. Might as well just finish the job. Freshman year, I can't remember who we played. I think it was St. Thomas Aquinas, and they're a huge private school rival of ours, so we just really wanted to beat them and everything.
What you look back at your time at Lansing, like what else did you enjoy just being at Lansing High School?
The people, and then just kind of like the community and everything. I've grown up there, so I know a lot of people, and just kind of the atmosphere.
What went into your recruitment after high school, and what made you decide to land on Cowley?
Well, recruiting was kind of difficult for me, but when I came on my visit to Cowley, the community was great, and I just liked the chemistry that they had and how the girls treated me and everything. And so that kind of helped make and obviously successful program, but it helped make my decision a lot easier.
You mentioned that injury back in high school. Like, what was the recovery process like for you, and like how long did it take for you to kind of feel fully confident coming back from that injury?
So the recovery time, I wasn't able to play for 8 months, so that was hard. But to be fully confident, it was probably 2 or 3 months after I was cleared.
And then arriving to Cowley and being a part of that freshman season that went undefeated in a national championship, like what stood out about that run? It just made that team so special.
I mean, we were just super resilient. Like we had girls, we just refused to lose. Like if we lost a set, it was just bounce back right away, push to finish the next one and everything.
Like, do you feel that bullseye? I mean, like obviously going undefeated, but even starting at your sophomore season, like, do you feel, I don't know, any added pressure, like just being, with Cowley's program?
Yeah, you do a little bit. There's always a target on our backs, just regardless of, I mean, this season hasn't looked exactly like we wanted it, but there's still a target on our back, and it does create some extra pressure. But with all the mental training that we do prior to season starting, it helps us deal with that pressure.
All right, so outside of Cowley College, what's your favorite part about Ark City?
I don't know. A very, very small town. There's not a whole lot to do here.
All right, so you're staying on campus then, huh?
Yeah.
Very good. Hey, Ashlynn, appreciate the time.
Thank you.
That is Ashlynn Jaccard, a member of the Cowley College volleyball team and out of Lansing High School for our Next Level Talents. Are you a person that's always on the go? You can still easily keep up with Kansas Sports Chatter with the audio podcast. Hear each episode on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make sure to follow the Kansas Sports Chatter podcast. Thanks to all of our guests. A great lineup again today. You can check out all the full interviews by going over to the YouTube page, subscribe there, help out Kansas Sports Chatter, and you can get caught up to date with everything from today's show all the way back to day one in mid-August. We will close out the show with a radio highlight from Ross Volkmer out west, the radio voice of the Goodland Cowboys. Enjoy the sounds.
In transition, up ahead to Williams. Williams picks up the basketball, double team, leaves it back to Mole. Right wing three. Oh, it's good. Braylon Mole, 2 for 2 from Tripletown.